Hey everyone, I'm Kerry Jeffrey. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, counsellor and life coach, and I work exclusively online with clients all around the world using my very untraditional therapy programs because I don't do traditional therapy, which is talk-based. I'm more active, coaching, skills-based, hypnotherapy, very unique. So if you're expecting to work with me and get traditional therapy, you're going to be very sadly disappointed. So I wanted to pop in, talk about a couple of things. One, thank you to everybody who commented on my photo yesterday with my new hair. Finally found a hairdresser that I love, which has been a long, very long search. It's taken quite a few years, but it does make a difference. And a few people in that commented on that it's good to see me looking, more vibrant and more glowy and more healthy. And 6 months ago, I was certainly not that. And if you want to look at the progression, all you need to do is have a look through the videos here that I've posted, or pop over to the Emotional Autoimmunity YouTube channel that I have, and you can see exactly what I was like then. I was very physically frail, extremely thin, very underweight, so basically skin and bones, and that had a huge impact on me. Getting that new diagnosis of type 1 diabetes, being in a hospital not just once but twice, being in intensive care for over 5 days, going through a lot of medical bullying, a whole lot of things that were going on, and that has had a huge ripple effect on my life. And in fact, I was talking to my eldest son recently about it and was saying, what was it like for you? Because the poor guy had to carry me to the car and carry me into the hospital and sit there and advocate for me because I was just so physically frail and like throwing up and a whole lot of things going on. I was in diabetic ketoacidosis at that time, not knowing that, and in a lot of pain, and very, very frail. So he kind of said to me that when I got home, what they were really expecting as a family was to see me just continue to decline, and that it would probably end up dying. So it was a really big thing for them. And a lot of people have asked me, in private messages and on this page, like, what have you done to recover? Like, they want me to give them some sort of roadmap of what I did. So what did I eat, and what supplements did I take, and what did I do? And basically that wasn't the thing that helped me recover from this very difficult diagnosis. Like, what helped me recover was my emotional health, right? My mindset, the tools that I needed to wrap my mind around a very big, life-changing, not only diagnosis, but now being a type 1 diabetic, living with being insulin dependent, having my life pretty much revolve around checking my blood glucose, injecting myself, trying to work out all the things that impact on my blood sugar levels, having to take all of my stuff with me now as I venture out into the world. So it wasn't a matter of what did I do like physically, because all of the stuff that I do to physically support myself are things that have pretty much been dialed in over the last 7 years, which is I eat a nutrient-dense diet. I prepare all of my food at home. So basically I have good quality proteins and vegetables, and now I have low carbohydrate vegetables because my personal goals physically for what I want for myself is to rebuild my strength and muscles, because I didn't just lose fat, I lost muscle. So I lost nearly all of the muscle in my arms and in my body, and in my legs. So I've been, really focusing on building that, doing weight training, starting off really, really tiny, slow, with exercises they give me in the hospital, which is basically just standing up from a chair and sitting back down. So standing, sitting, standing, sitting. I had to start with those very, very basic things, just raising my arms to start rebuilding some muscle, because I'd lost nearly all the muscle in my back and my shoulders. So physically, what I do is give my body things that it's going to be able to use, what the cells can actually use to rebuild. So I don't eat any wasted stuff. Like pretty much everything I eat is nutrient dense, with things that my body can use, because my health goals for myself with managing Hashimoto's, celiac, type 1 diabetes and antiphospholipid syndrome is that I eat low carbohydrate. And I eat low carbohydrate because I want to be able to still use small amounts of insulin and try to, as much as I possibly can with a disease that is really difficult to manage, almost impossible to manage at times, is trying to keep my blood sugars in as close to normal range as I can without going into a dangerous low that can kill me. So in order to deal with this, right, like I've been teaching this stuff for the last 6 years, working with clients around the world. And what going through my hospitalization experience and this new diagnosis has proven to me beyond a shadow of a doubt is that what I do works. It's that mindset, having those emotional skills, knowing how to negotiate and talk to doctors, knowing how to believe and back yourself, not allowing people to gaslight you, being able to have very matter-of-fact conversations about the reality of the illnesses you live with the people that are important to you, being able to set boundaries, being able to get out of all the catastrophic negative thinking, being able to deal with the grief that comes with chronic illness and a life-changing diagnosis, and knowing that you're no longer the person that you used to be. That has to start here. If you do not deal with the emotional side of your illness, if you do not get the right skills and the mindset that you need, the physical stuff is not going to give you the recovery that you want, because stress, all right, stress creates inflammation, inflammation creates autoimmune flares, and an inflamed body cannot heal. So if you want to think about this in terms of walking my talk, what I've basically shown you over the past 6 months in what I've gone through with this diagnosis is how my therapy works, like how my skills actually work. Because without that, without having all of the years of the practice and the implementation that I've put in and the self-work that I've done, I wouldn't have survived it. Honestly, I would not have survived what I went through in the past 6 months, and I am still pretty much in awe of my amazing body and how resilient it is, and that when I work with it, how much recovery it can give me. So that is really the only difference, right? The edge that I have, if I have an edge, isn't nutrition. It isn't any special superpower that I am, more resilient or just more self-disciplined or whatever it is that you want to say. It's skills-based, right? This is all using the tools. That's what I've done. That's basically what I've done. Was it hard? Hell yeah. It was really hard coming back from being physically frail and disabled in a very different way than I was 7 years ago with Hashimoto's. And honestly, if this had been my first experience of, going into ketoacidosis diabetic meltdown, like physically my body was melting, it was eating itself from the inside, right? If I hadn't have had those skills and this had been my first diagnosis 7 years ago, I probably wouldn't have come out of it. But going through that first experience, being able to take all of the skills and tools that I already had as a therapist who specialized in helping people overcome, like the adult children of toxic parents, so to be able to set boundaries and overcome that manipulation and guilt and all of those things that comes with having toxic parents. It was being able to take that and adapt that first for myself, to work out how to use that to recover from being physically and cognitively disabled with Hashimoto's and celiac disease, and get my life back, like, you know, go from not being able to work, not being able to physically care for or support myself, not knowing if anything would get better, right? So all of that uncertainty, and then taking what I learned and applied and used to myself to teach that to my clients, and then seeing how they've been able to use those skills no matter what disease they have, whether they are bedridden and on gastric nasal tubes because they can't digest their food, but still have a good quality of life, still feel like a great loving mother, still feeling like they are worthwhile, no matter what chronic illness you have, no matter what situation you are in, you can still have a satisfying, meaningful life. You can, and it all starts here. If you are still living with catastrophizing on a daily basis, always going to the worst case scenario, feeling guilty, feeling useless, feeling afraid, having all of those what if thoughts all the time, you're not going to be able to see how much healing you can have. You are not going to be able to change the quality of your life, because what needs to change is your mindset. What needs to change is facing up to the grief and being able to be supported through that. So as much as I wish I could give you guys some physical roadmap, which would be eat this thing, take this supplement, take these thyroid hormones at this particular strength and take this amount, that's not how it works. That's not how chronic illness works. We are all different. That's why it's so difficult to deal with, right? Because there is not a one physical or nutritional or supplemental or drug thing that works the same way for everyone. The biggest thing is having the mindset and the proper tools to deal with the constant physical challenges that come with having chronic illness, whether it is autoimmune, whether you have ME, CFS, whatever it is that you have. The one thing we all share is that this inconsistency and constant changing nature of energy, the way your brain works, brain fog, motivation levels, pain levels, all of those things, right? You need the right mindset. You need the right tools to be able to support yourself. So if you're wondering what it is that I've done that's, you know, people have said, oh, you've made this remarkable recovery, right? And this is me sitting here, there's no makeup. This is just me, 61 years old, got out of bed an hour and a half ago with a low blood sugar, right? This is how I get through my life. This is how I support myself. So if you are sick of being sick, if you are tired of trying to support yourself and deal with this alone, if you are looking for someone who can actually give you tools and skills that you can apply and use to better the quality of your life, if you are looking for untraditional therapy, so not just talking about the problem, not just hoping to gain some insight, like getting someone to actually tell you this is what you do and this is how you do it and this is how you have those conversations. then book your free discovery session with me. All right, I only work part-time. I have limited spaces available. I can work with you anywhere in the world, that we can make a time zones match and that we have good internet connection. I charge in Australian dollars and there are payment options there. So you can't do this alone, right? Unless you have the right tools, knowledge and experience. And the one thing that did get me through this is that I've pretty much spent my whole life working on myself. I've always wanted to help people. I've always wanted to help support people out of their emotional distress and upset. And I am very, very grateful that I get to do that. And yeah, that is basically how I've got through the last 6 months, you know. It's no special nutritional, medical secret. It's all been here. It's all been picking up the tools and using them even when it's really hard. And I hope this has been useful for you. So, you know, reach out, book your discovery session. You're not obligated. I'm not going to want an answer from you on the spot. Let's just talk about the possibilities and see if this is what feels like the right thing for you. So I'm going to get on with my admin day, do a lot of relaxing because I'm feeling pretty tired at the moment. Take good care of you guys, okay? I'll speak to you later. Bye.